I am Margie Taylor. Welcome to EMC News on Lone Star Community Radio. We're so excited to now be on FM 104.5 and 106.1. And we record live every Monday at noon from downtown Conroe. And I host it, Margie Taylor. And we hope to give you some information about things that are happening in East Montgomery County, Porter, New Caney, and Splendora. Things that are happening with the Chamber, the New Caney and Splendora school districts, law enforcement, nonprofits that serve East Montgomery County, and, of course, local businesses. You can listen in every Monday at noon to learn more on Lone Star Community Radio. Today, we welcome several people from the community. We have Judy Hayes with REMAX Rewards, and she's a broker owner. We have Deanna Galloway, who's a mortgage loan officer. We have Jason Tracy from Nationwide Insurance and Larry Fleming-Accurate Inspections, along with Kobe Reynolds, who also works with Judy Hayes. And we will come right back and talk with them after we talk about a little bit about news and announcements in East Montgomery County. So, first of all, Porter High School made the playoffs, and they have their game Friday against Port Arthur Memorial, November 11th at Texan Drive Stadium at 7:30. The tickets are available at the New Caney ISD Athletic Office and Porter High School for reserved and general admission prior to the game. Tickets will be available at the gate as well. But if you are a season ticket holder, you must reserve your seats today by 4 p.m. at the athletic office, or they will be given up for general admission for this game. New Caney ISD salutes the veterans in a special ceremony at both schools. New Caney High School will be at 8:30 Friday morning in front of the high school and at 9 a.m. at the flagpole in front of Porter High School. The public is encouraged to attend. And if you are a veteran and want to be recognized, contact Cadet Second Lieutenant Tristan Rietzel, and you could go to the homepage of New Caney ISD for additional information. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Super Tuesday. Thank goodness it is finally here. Won't that be exciting? Have you voted yet? Well, you can vote at various locations tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and there probably will be lines, so be ready. You can go to the New Caney Elementary, Crippen Elementary, Splendora ISD instructional offices, the Friendship United Methodist Church, Splendora Junior High, New Caney ISD Annex, Wood Branch City Hall, and Peach Creek Baptist Church. For more information on your location and where it is, you can go to mctx.org/elections. So, a few upcoming things. Concerned Citizens is tonight, Monday, November 7th, and they will be meeting, as always, at the library at 7:30. Hear from your elected officials as to what's going on, fire departments, law enforcement, and others. The Business Development Committee for the Greater East Montgomery County Chamber meets 8:30 to 9:30 tomorrow morning. Thirsty Thursday is now Thirsty Tuesday, and they meet tomorrow from 4:30 to 7:30 at Longhorn Steakhouse at Deerbrook Mall. The East Montgomery County Republican women will hold an election watch meeting from 6:30 to 9:30 at Texan Drive Stadium tomorrow. Wednesday, November 9th, is the Observer Luncheon, and that is from 11:30 to 1 at Homewood Suites, $15 at the door. So save the date for Sunday, December 11th. That will be, Tavola Community is having their reindeer run. It's a 5K and kids 1K run, and it is a sanctioned race with chip monitoring. If you don't know what that is, it's where they put a little chip in your shoe and people can follow you to see where you're at. And it also makes it very legit for other races, and it's very competitive. But it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone, and even Santa will be there. So another thing I wanted to mention, it's kind of a feel-good thing. And last week was Red Ribbon Week at the schools, and kids dressed up for different activities, reminding students of the dangers of drug abuse. Well, a lot of kids dressed up, but Peach Creek Elementary School has a first grader named Trevor Harney, and he had to be in the hospital because he is undergoing some tests, MRIs and things like that for fluid on the brain. And he got this shortly after he was born. And so while he was in the hospital during Red Ribbon Week, he actually dressed up for Everyday's theme and snapped a picture and shared it with the Peach Creek Elementary. So that is really neat. And if you want to find out more about this, you can go to SplendoraISD.org on their homepage and see this. And I think that's just kind of a neat thing that he still wanted to be a team player and be part of it, even though he couldn't be there. So we wanted to recognize that. So we are now going to take a break, and we will be right back on EMC News and hear from my guests, the power team of Judy Hayes-Remax Rewards. This is
EMC News, your local news from EMC every Monday at noon on Lone Star Community Radio.
When medical emergencies happen, trust your best neighbors ever for extraordinary emergency care from board-certified physicians. Neighbors Emergency Center is making lives better by providing exceptional medical care for you and your family, 24/7, 365 days a year, with little to no wait time. With Montgomery County locations in Porter and Kingwood, Neighbors Emergency Center is there for you. For more information on Neighbors Emergency Centers, please visit them online at nec24.com.
Want to know what's happening in East County? You're listening to EMC News on Lone Star Community Radio.
Hello, I'm Margie Taylor, and we are back with EMC News on this beautiful Monday morning, a little bit cooler, and yay for that. I had a great run this morning. It's kind of nice to run when it's cooler out and not as humid. So a podcast of the show will be available, could be tomorrow, as a matter of fact. It's available on SoundCloud, YouTube, and, of course, always on our Facebook page and irlonestar.com/EMCN. So I have several guests with me today on the show. I have the Powerhouse team, and we're going to find out exactly what that means, of Judy Hayes with Remax Rewards. Hello, Judy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So this is exciting. Have you been on radio before?
I have, twice.
Okay, awesome. Then you got this handled. I should probably just leave. You can just do the whole thing.
You're good.
Okay, so we have Judy Hayes, and we're also going to speak with Deanna Galloway, who is the Mortgage Loan Officer. Hello, Deanna.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So tell me, why does somebody even need a realtor? Why can't they just sell their home themselves or find a home themselves?
Well, there's a whole lot more to it than just opening the door to go to the house and look at it. That's really the fun part of it. It is nice to get to house hunt and walk around and look at it. But the first thing I'd like to remind them is that they are signing a legally binding contract, which in most instances is the largest transaction that they will ever purchase. So it is imperative that they have a real estate agent who knows the contracts and the legal ramifications of what they're doing to make sure they understand every step of the way, and they are an expert at doing this on a daily basis.
Great. So how long have you been in the real estate business?
I have been a broker owner since January of 2010.
So quite a while. You're working on your 7th year coming up.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are a powerhouse because how many offices? 3 offices?
I have 3 offices right now. We're located in Porter, Huffman, and Waller. So when we first started this, the idea of a powerhouse team is to have a one-stop shop for our buyer and sellers' real estate needs. So the folks that are here with us today are pretty much everyone you need to buy a house. I'm, of course, the real estate agent. Deanna Galloway is our lender. Jason Tracy is insurance, and Larry Fleming is the home inspector.
Okay. And then you have Kobe.
Kobe is my right hand. She is my director of business development. Yes, she runs my office.
That's good. That's good because it sounds like you have a very busy office. So let's get Deanna in here a little bit. How do you assist and help out and partner with Judy?
The main thing is that we try to make sure that everyone that's interested in purchasing a home has the ability to do so. That's important when you have people that are walking into sellers' homes. They want to make sure that that person has the ability to buy. More importantly, the buyer needs to know. They may be looking at a home that's out of their price range. Most buyers are interested in 2 things: how much money it takes them to purchase that home out of pocket, and how much their monthly mortgage is going to be. That's the 2 questions that everyone is interested in. So that enables me to give them all of that information. It also lets the sellers know that they're serious. So when that contract comes off or offer comes through, it's taken seriously, that these folks know what they're getting into. They're not just playing around.
So if you're selling your home, you want to know that someone is pre-qualified and that you've already gone through the hoops to see that, yes, they can afford this house and it's within their means, so that they don't take their offer versus somebody else and then nobody wins.
That's exactly correct.
So tell me about the pre-qualifying process. What is that exactly?
We take an application. We try to take a thorough application. We get obviously all the pertinent private information, everything from their first name and where they work. We pull their credit report, and based on the information that the buyer provides, we're able to issue a pre-qualification letter that states that we have pulled their credit. We have talked to them about their assets, their income, their job time. It's a lot more to buying a house than it ever has been before, with all the rules and regulations that we are guided by. Then once we do that, we issue a letter to the to the buyer's agent and to the buyer, letting them know that they have been pre-qualified.
And that's for X amount, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Some buyers want to know exactly what's the most they can purchase. Some want to be pre-qualified for a specific house.
But you don't tell the seller that.
That's correct. I'm not in communication with the seller.
Right. You don't tell them.
Just the buyer.
You can raise that up a little bit because they can actually pay more.
Yeah, I'm in communication with the buyer.
Judy, right? Right. Okay, so there's a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. Can you do both? Can you represent both? How does that work?
Absolutely, you certainly can. But number one, everybody has to be comfortable with that. Number one, the buyers and the sellers have to be comfortable with that. And on my end, I have to be comfortable with it. So if I represent the seller, I need to make sure that their home is listed at market value. I need to make sure my buyer is wanting to purchase at market value. And as long as everyone agrees with that, then I'm comfortable with it.
So you could actually represent the seller who is selling the home and bring a buyer for that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not a conflict.
No, it's not.
As long as they both know.
Correct. It's called an intermediary status.
Okay. So you have agents then that represent both buyers or sellers in your offices, correct?
Correct. Some agents don't like to do that, and some buyers and sellers don't like to do that, so it's everyone's choice.
Okay. So what are a few things you would look for when you're trying to choose a real estate agent?
The number one thing that I would say is do your homework. You would want to make sure that this agent is working with a reputable company that is actually acknowledged as a real estate company, and they know that. For existence, RE/MAX. When you hear RE/MAX, you know that it's a real estate brokerage. The next thing I would tell them to ask the agent that they're talking to is how many years of experience you have, but more importantly, how many transactions have you closed within the last year?
That's good.
Yes, because someone could have 20 years of experience, but they haven't sold but one house in the last 5 years.
Yes.
So make sure they're full-time real estate agents, because this industry constantly changes, and they need to be up to date with what's going on, not only in the real estate industry, but the lending, the inspections, and the insurance, everything.
Wow. So do you take classes periodically to keep you updated on the newest trends and things that are going on?
Yes, constantly. We are required to do that by the state. Kobe is actually in charge of the training in our office, and the title companies. Larry has done training for us. Jason has. Anybody that's in the industry, we have weekly training in our office for tons of different variety of things that the agents may need.
So you have that education and experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice. Okay. Well, we also have sitting here, we have Jason with Nationwide Insurance, and we're going to get back and ask you guys some more questions, but I didn't want him to feel left out. So we're going to spread it. So you have to get insurance on your home. And I'm assuming that you do this once you decide you want the house, or when do you do this in the process?
Yeah, during the process, Margie. Basically, once you purchase a house, you got to get the loan, you got to get the inspection, you got to do the insurance. And you want to do that about 30 days out, because they got to go through underwriting. You got to make sure you got the right policy. Like Judy said, do your homework. Make sure you have the right policy. Make sure you have the right coverage on the insurance.
So before you can do closing and you get the keys and sign the papers and all of that, you need to get with your insurance company, whoever that provider is, and find out if things are personalized. I like to use the word tailorized, just saying.
There you go.
To your specific needs. for your home. Now, you can get different riders and things like that, too. What does that mean?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, you want to make sure that you have a good policy. Make sure you have replacement costs on the house versus actual cash value. Make sure you have water damage coverage. What happens if you come home and there is water all over your floors? Are you covered?
Okay. So, yes, that very specifically. So you get the rates before you buy, and depending on if it's flooded there before, once or twice, like maybe in April or May,
Exactly.
you have to get flood insurance. Well, anybody can get flood insurance at any time, right? I mean, you can get renters or anything.
That
to
is
help
correct.
cover you.
There is a 30-day waiting period, so make sure you get
You do
it
it
before the
before.
storm is in the Gulf. It's too late. You have to get it before.
Is it? It's too late
It's
if
too
there's
late.
a storm? Okay.
You have to
Then-
get that 30-day waiting period in there.
So if there's a hurricane coming and you say, okay, I want flood insurance. So you have to wait 30 days till after the occurrence or after you make the phone call or?
Basically, after you make the transaction. So once you make the transaction, you have the 30-day waiting period.
So if the ground is saturated from the flood, but it happens after you got coverage, then you're okay.
Correct.
Okay, whatever. Just walk through that. Okay. So, Deanna, and there's also different loans you can get. You
that's
can tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we offer the 4 loans, the conventional loan, FHA, USDA, and VA loans. Those are the 4 primary types of loans. And then under those umbrellas, there's different qualifications.
What is the variance? I mean, VA is for veterans, of course.
Of course. The USDA is a zero down program that concentrates on the eligibility being the rural property and the family size income. It is specifically designed to help homes in areas that were a little harder to get sold, help those buyers get into those homes with a zero down. Doesn't mean you don't need any money. Let's make sure and cover that. But it is a zero down program. FHA allows for a little bit lower credit scores. Everybody, occasionally people have problems in their past. FHA used to be known as the forgivable loan. It lets you recreate your credit report, and overcome some obstacles you may or may have not had in the past. And a conventional loan is your typical loan with 5% down or more, very competitive rates. But it's the people that don't qualify for one of the other types that have the good credit.
Okay, and you work with all of those loans.
I do want to say one thing. The company I work for is Georgetown Mortgage, and we are very, very proactive in the VA world. At this time and for the future, we offer a $250 lender credit to help veterans pay for their expenses to buy a home. And we also, on the behalf of the veteran, offer a $250 donation to one of 2 nonprofit organizations to help veterans and their families post-closing.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so what is the very first step then? So you find out you want to buy a home. So you should go to you, Deanna, first and see what you're qualified, what amount.
What amount and what type of loan. There's different criteria for each one.
Right.
A lot of loans are credit score driven. So based on that, what your interest rate could involve, mortgage insurance, that nasty word that people don't like, the down payment, funds to close, the requirement for how much actual assets you have in the bank. All those things impact buyers. Everywhere from first-time home buyers to someone that's bought and sold homes over and over again. There's different variables that we have to make sure that they're comfortable with. You may qualify for one type, but at this time in your life, it may not fit your needs.
Right.
So that's my job, is to make sure the education is there.
And one of the things I'd like to say is when you're looking at a home, let's just say you're approved for $200,000.
And this is Judy speaking. Yes.
Sorry. You may be approved for $200,000, but depending on where you're buying, if you're buying rural in, say, Splendora, New Caney, versus in a brand new neighborhood of Royal Brook or Oakhurst where the tax rate is higher, that's going to affect your payment substantially.
Absolutely.
Or the type of house you can get.
Sure.
And so it's her job to try to explain all that to you so you can determine which
So
route
you
is
help
better.
them with the education process of
That
the
is
money,
my job.
the money deals.
Mhm.
And then at that point, when they know how much money they have in their bag, then they can come over to you, Judy, and your
Correct.
team, and then they pick an agent that's going to fit their needs, that's reputable, that has done many transactions over the year. and then you help them find a home. What are some things that they need to? Are there some questions that you want them to be prepared with? What type of home they're looking for? I mean, what are the different variables?
Well, exactly. When they call me, they pretty much know what they want, and then it's my job to find that for them or inform them that maybe they're not there yet, to kind of set those expectations for them. So the main call that my office gets is we want a house with a little bit of land. They want a little bit of space, no restrictions, whether it's a workshop or anything like that. But they learn very quickly that when you say just a little bit of land, that price goes just a little bit higher pretty quickly.
Of course it does.
It's my job to, like I said, set those expectations so they know what they can find in their budget. And that's where Deanna comes in, that I said, hey, this is what they want. Can we get them there?
Okay. So, we are going to have to break here in another couple of minutes, but I wanted to pull Jason into the loop again. So you also offer discounts for people with insurance too, don't you? How does that work? And
Yes, ma'am.
how do I get a discount?
Basically, what I try to educate the people on how to lower their price. Also, how do you get a cheaper price in insurance? Everybody knows insurance is expensive right now, and basically bundle your home and auto together. Get the same agent that has your auto insurance to do your home insurance.
Well, that way they know all your needs, right?
Exactly. They know your needs. Plus, every company's going to give you a multi-policy discount, and you get the best discounts that way. Also, look at like a newer home discount. If the house is built in 2010, that's going to be cheaper than a house that's built in, say, 1980, just because it has newer plumbing, newer electrical, might be still on warranty by the builder. So most of your insurance companies give discounts that way also.
Okay. Well, very good. So we're going to take a little break and come right back. And this half of EMC News is sponsored by Neighbors Emergency Clinic, and they are there to help with any emergency 24/7, 354 days of the year. And we'll be right back on Margie Taylor. We're recording live from downtown Conroe, EMC News.
Stay tuned to the EMC News Hour with your host, Margie Taylor.
Animals of all shapes and sizes are welcomed at Big Thicket Vet in New Caney with vet services like extensive health exams, vaccinations, heartworm, tick, flea prevention, along with experienced and trustworthy emergency and urgent care. For more information on Big Thicket Vet in New Caney, visit bigthicketvetnc.com or locally at 18403 FM 1485 in New Caney, Texas.
Stay tuned to the EMC News Hour with your host, Margie Taylor.
Hello, I'm Margie Taylor. This is EMC News, recording live from downtown Conroe. And exciting, we are also on FM now, 104.5 and 106.1. So turn it up. Listen to us. Get ready. Find out about what's going on in East Montgomery County. So we are here with Judy Hayes and her power team with REMAX Rewards, Deanna Galloway, who's a mortgage loan officer, Jason Tracy-Nationwide Insurance, Larry Fleming with Accurate Inspect, and we are continuing the conversation. We will also hear a little bit from Kobe Reynolds, who's also on the team. So where we left off, what I want to know about, Deanna, so tell me about loans for lots. Is that different than getting a house loan, and do you handle that as well?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we do. Your custom builders are the ones that typically...
They do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What the first part is, you'll find your land, and then that's usually purchased in advance. Once you find a builder and you're ready for your construction, that's when you come to me. We do the the two-time close, where you go and get your interim financing, and then after we get within 30 days of closing, we flip to the permanent financing.
But what if somebody just wants to they're not ready to build yet?
They just want land?
They just want land.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you to qualify them for that?
No,
or
ma'am.
How does that work?
No, ma'am. And most of the time, that's going to take a local bank.
Okay. So you don't need a mortgage.
You do not need a mortgage banker for that. You need a local bank.
Well, I'm just asking the question.
Good question.
Because there's a lot going on in East Montgomery County, and people are trying to buy land that's available. Now, am I wrong, Judy?
No,
are people doing that?
That's correct. It's either cash or they have to go to a local lender for that.
Okay, but you sell property that's just
Yes.
undeveloped lots, land, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
How much is available in East Montgomery County right now? Is there still a lot?
There is, but the hardest, location right now is Splendora. Everybody wants that, and the prices have really gotten steep up there.
So if I wanted to sell my house on 9 acres, I could do pretty good.
You could. We definitely need to talk. You definitely would.
Just wondering.
The one thing they don't realize is if they're getting land, they have to put 20% down if it's land only.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that, and I think that listeners might want to know more about that. Okay. So we now have Larry Fleming here with Accurate Inspect with us. Thank you, Larry, for sitting in on the show.
Good to be here.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit. You do inspections, so residential inspections. When do you do that in the process? When do people get their house inspected, the house that they're hoping to purchase?
Typically speaking, a customer would first of all contact their realtor, contact Judy in this case. And Judy, when they find the house that they want to purchase, Judy is going to get them signed up, and there would be a period of time that is called an option period. Judy knows more specifically about the contract side of that, but typically speaking, we see in our industry a 10-day period of time. That's a negotiated period of time, is my understanding.
That's
it could
correct.
be 7 days.
Could be 30 days.
Could be 30 days.
Whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Judy knows more about that. But during that option period is when we go look at it. And that's kind of a due diligence period. The idea behind it is you've offered a certain price for a piece of property subject to what you might not know about it. And once the inspection report gets finished, Judy then would take that inspection report, and there's several things that could be done. One is the customer could walk away from the transaction, decide they don't want to purchase. That's, hopefully
So
not
they would
the
get
end,
their
but that's
earnest money
possible.
back.
That's a possibility. That's part of what
Is that
an
how that
option
works,
period
Judy?
is for.
Yes, as long
Okay.
as you're in the option.
The other
period.
option is they decide, well, it was an older house to begin with. We expected it to have some issues or
And we're
whatever,
okay
so
with it.
we're good with it. We didn't see anything that we would walk away from. The other thing is they may go back and renegotiate and say, well, we still want the house, but there were some things we didn't know about the house, and we would either like to get those fixed and that kind of thing. So some of that happens, but that's more the agent that does that more than
You
really
just
mine.
inspect.
All I'm dealing with is the construction side of it. I'm not trying to sell them a house. I'm not trying to not sell them a house. I don't technically work for Judy. I'm working for my customer. It's a fiduciary
Right.
responsibility to my customer to protect their best interest. So I'm just giving them information about the house. That's
So
what
do
I'm
you
doing.
also take pictures of the different things to show
Yes,
them
and we
and give them a full report?
Yes, we include the pictures in the report with the itemized list, summary pages at the end of all the different things that come up during the inspection. We're technically following TREC guidelines. The same people that license Judy as an agent license us as inspectors, and they provide the standards of practice, and it's essentially a function inspection, a safety inspection. TREC doesn't want somebody to buy a house and nobody's ever plugged into anything, and then they get in the house and then they wonder
Nothing
why
works.
stuff doesn't work. And a lot of times people have a tendency, and I think Judy would attest to this as well, that they go into a house and they go, my couch will look good over here, and I'd love my TV on this wall. But nobody's ever checked, does the water work, or, that kind of thing.
Right,
So that's
right.
a lot of the inspection is the function side. The other side is safety. TREC is concerned anytime a house is being bought or sold that they're informed about potential safety issues that might relate to a family living in the house.
Give me some examples of that, of the safety things that you check on.
GFCI protection, arc fault protection, safety glass, stair railings, stair heights, riser heights, tread depths, things like that could potentially be dangerous. They're concerned about small children falling out of balconies if the spindles are 4 feet apart. There's some old houses built in the 40s that have beautiful staircases, but the spindles are
So
very
do you
spread
ask
out.
if the potential buyer has children before you inspect?
I've been
or
known.
is that
I've been known
relevant?
to ask the question, but it's really not.
It's not
Our
relevant.
inspection is going to
Okay.
happen regardless, and we're just informing them. Nobody's required to fix it. Even on our inspection report from the state of Texas, specifically says nobody's expected to bring a house up to current code. But TREC is concerned that take a family, an example of a family buys an old house, the spindles are 4 feet apart, and they have small children. They want them informed that situation exists.
So it's
they
at
can
least
still
it's
buy
there,
the house. Yeah.
and they get to make the choices, but they're educated.
They're at least
so
informed.
you check on everything and then present that, and then they go, well, this isn't important, this isn't important.
Correct.
Well, being that I don't have water, that's important.
That might matter.
Okay, so that matters more. So when you're checking things, you go up in the attic, I'm assuming.
We do.
And you check the ductwork.
We prefer the attic this time of year.
Of course you do.
As opposed to July. But we
Right.
go up in the attic even in July.
And you
but
take your
it's blazing
flashlight
hot.
and check for things.
We do.
And insulation.
We do.
Do you check the electrical wiring?
All the above.
All the above.
Structural,
And
mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
So you check for if they have an outdoor water pumps and things like that.
If they
too?
have water wells outside, no, that's not a part of our traditional inspection. Not everybody has a water well outside.
Correct.
But we do those inspections. We charge extra for those inspections if they have a
And
water
you tell
well,
them
that kind of thing.
that
We do.
ahead of time.
And we take a water sample. We take it to a laboratory.
You do that. Okay.
Yeah, we take it to a laboratory so that they can get a coliform test to make
Correct.
sure that it's safe for them to drink,
Yes.
at least as far as coliform is concerned.
And so you also check to make sure the appliances are working.
That we do.
You turn on the oven. You do all
All the
those
above.
things.
Our requirements on an oven are to check an oven at 350 degrees, a dishwasher to make sure that it operates. And there's certain things related to a dishwasher that we're checking for, anti-siphon loops, and make sure that there's a means of electrical disconnect. A lot of things related to.
What about fireplaces?
We check
Do
those
you go up
as
the
well.
chimney?
We do not go up the chimney.
Well, you know
no.
what I mean. It's not like Santa Claus or anything.
You
But I'm
finally,
just
you finally
saying.
found a question. It is that actually brings up an interesting point. It is a limited inspection. You have the legal right to do all different types of inspections, but a TREC inspection is what we're following, and they actually tell us what we're responsible to inspect, what we're not responsible to inspect.
I mean, there can be fire hazards with chimneys. And
That is true.
So
Our
that's not
recommendation
part-
would be if you're buying an older
Okay.
house that has an old chimney in it, that you get the chimney cleaned. And that would
Okay.
be our recommendation. But we do not go into
But
the
you don't
chimney.
do that.
But we do check to make sure there's
Okay.
a spark arrestor on the chimney and a cap on the chimney and that it's functional and that type
Oh,
of
very
thing.
good. Am I leaving out anything, Larry?
Anything related to
To
inspections,
inspections,
how
yes,
much
yeah.
time do you have? So, no, we love inspections, love doing it. It's a fantastic aspect of our job. It's what I do. And
You're always finding something interesting.
Oh,
huh?
yeah, and we get to look at a lot of different construction and that kind of thing, so we enjoy that. We see the way different people live. That's always interesting when we walk into their house. But
I'm sure it is.
But no, in all seriousness, though, I'm code certified in structural, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. I come from a code background, so I really like new construction and dealing in code. Section R 308.4, item number 6, exception number
Okay, I don't
5
know what
says
those
you need
numbers are.
safety glass and 24 inches of curve of the door, that kind of thing. That's what I like to do. But that being said, I enjoy all aspects of going into the house and making sure a customer is fully informed of what they're buying. We're not trying to sell them a house. We're not trying to not sell them a house. We're just trying to inform them about what they're potentially purchasing.
Yes, what the house has.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a couple questions about this option period. So if somebody is interested in a house, Judy, and then you recommend that they connect with Larry to do an inspection, when do they decide? Do you guys then negotiate to the seller what the option period will be, like if it's 30 days or a week or whatever it is?
Yes,
How does that work?
That's in the initial contract negotiation. It's generally 7 to 10 days. And my buyer's going to know that as well as the seller. So whatever their option period is, let's say it's 10 days, that's 10 days to have their inspections completed and negotiated. So within that time period, two things are going to happen. Their inspectors are going to come out, and they can have all kinds, from termite, pool, well, septic, whatever they need. We're going to get them all done, sit down at one time and see what our issues are. We will then go to the seller. We could ask for repairs, or we could ask for money, price reduction, a variety of things to make that work, whatever works. So two things are going to happen. They're either going to come to an agreement and we move forward, or we terminate the contract and the buyer will get their earnest money back during this option period if it's just more than they want to deal with. Or like you said, we looked at the house on my end, it's pretty, it looks nice, but when Larry comes in and said, guess what's behind the walls, that's their determination at that time.
A small
Okay,
correction,
okay.
I can't see behind the walls, but,
Okay, all right.
but just a little minor correction there.
Oh, I thought with your safety glasses,
We're
maybe you could.
we're amazing
you know?
that way. Yes, we're amazing.
Okay,
Superman.
okay. So that explains a lot of different things about that. So I also, let's see, what else are we leaving out? So you take care of air conditioning, heating, and all of that as well.
Yes, we do. All the above.
You turn
Structural
on the
mechan-
heat and then you turn on the air conditioner?
All the above. Typically not in that order. And we prefer turning on the air conditioner and letting it run while we're doing the inspection, and then turn the heat on at the very last moment.
Just
But
had to
yes.
ask. Okay. All right. So,
Unless it's in the winter, then we might prefer the heater. I don't know. It may work both ways.
gosh darn.
I think we're going to talk about sellers and what they need to do.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about sellers. So also, this is a time for people that are looking for homes. People do look for homes and buy homes at holiday time, right, Judy?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so if I am getting ready to sell my property, what are some things I need to consider?
The very first thing is obviously getting that home show ready. Your buyers make very quick judgments and opinions when they come out to their house. So the two things that I tell my sellers are the two senses, what they can see and what they can smell. So when they drive up, we want a manicured yard, nice flower beds. You've seen all of that on HGTV. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
What they smell?
What they open the door and what they see and smell. So big
like
things.
Pet odors.
Pet.
And inspectors prefer it to smell good too and look
Okay,
good
we'll have
too,
that
if
in.
that helps.
Yeah,
Cook bake some cookies.
We
or
actually
something? Okay.
prefer that. Yes.
Okay, all right.
So pets, smoking, or very strong scents of food that are not cookies. That is something that I will bring to their attention right off the bat. The next thing is getting the home decluttered and what it looks like. I have a stager on staff that, I recommend a lot. She's very helpful with that because...
And tell me about a stager. What does a stager do?
She can come in and, number one, do the decluttering portion for you, utilize what you have, get things boxed up for you that you don't need. Or sometimes we come into a house that's vacant or pretty much vacant, and we actually need to add stuff to it.
So she has those and can put that stuff in there and
Yes,
make it all
ma'am.
look fluffy.
Yes, ma'am,
and
she can. Because
great.
It's so hard for people to visualize something. If they walk into one house and it's got purple and green striped walls, it's very hard for them to visualize with the neutral tan. So that's one of the things that we want it to be show home ready when they walk in the door, as close as we can get it. So if we need someone to add stuff or take it away, we do recommend that.
Okay. So when we come back here, we're going to take another little break. And when we come back, we're going to also talk about some more about having your home ready, what some questions sellers might have. And we're going to talk a little bit with Kobe. And I also want to talk about home warranties and who does that kind of thing, too, guarantees it.
Kobe used to work for a home warranty company, so she's our specialist
All
on
righty then. Okay. Margie Taylor, EMC News, and we'll be right back.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Check out EMC News on Facebook. Like us to see more about coming shows and guests.
Hello, I'm Margie Taylor, your host for EMC News every Monday at noon to 1 from downtown Conroe on Lone Star Community Radio. And we are here with the Judy Hayes Power team talking about buying your home, selling your home, getting qualified, what an inspector does. And he has a lot of fun, I'm saying, but he really prefers you have baked cookies ready for him.
Amen.
Okay. And we also have Jason Tracy with Nationwide. We have Deanna Galloway with Georgetown Mortgage. And we now have Kobe Reynolds sitting in now, too, that we're going to talk a little bit about some other things and home warranties and so on. So, so they've put in their bid for a house. They've already had an inspection. They're past the option period. They are qualified. They have their insurance. But there's something missing. How do they know that everything is going to be good? Tell me about home warranties, Kobe.
Yes, a little bit about home warranties. It's an insurance policy, so it's going to help cover things that break down mechanically. So when you look at the inspection report, that is a key thing to have. They want to make sure they do have the inspection report because sometimes things are not known. Like Larry said, he can't go behind the walls. He can't see behind the walls. So you plug in an outlet, and it works at the time of inspection. They close, they move into the house, and now all of a sudden it doesn't work.
So if he finds a problem, your home warranty will not cover that. Is that correct? If you've let it go and
It will
didn't
have to
address
be.
it?
It will have to be repaired correctly, and once it's repaired, then it kicks in. It's kind of like car
Okay.
insurance. If you purchase a car and it's not working, it's not going to be covered. Or if there's a dent in there, it's not going to be covered until it's
Then
properly
it's as
fixed.
is. And,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Jason, you don't handle home warranties, correct?
We do
as
not.
As far as insurance. I mean, it is a kind of an insurance.
It is an
but-
insurance policy, but yeah, it's a more of a warranty.
So that's a
They're
specific
separate
thing that
Exactly.
somebody goes to. And where would somebody go to get the home warranty at this point, Kobe?
There are separate companies out there that they can go to. Just
I'm sure you guys work with somebody
Yes.
that does something
Yes,
like
we
that.
refer
Judy
you're-
would give them the information
Yeah,
when
so
they're
your
needing it.
realtor will know how you can get a home warranty, and there's different ones that you can get, correct? That cover for a year, 2 years, 5 years. I don't know.
And different
Exactly.
warranty companies cover different things, is my understanding as well.
correct.
correct?
Correct. So the question is, when do you call your insurance company, or when do you call your home warranty
Correct. Yes.
company?
Yes. Good question.
So mechanical things, if your AC goes out, if plumbing is having an issue, you're going to call your home warranty company. So
Okay.
anything mechanically within the house, structural
Just within that
wise,
period. So what are the time periods for home warranties generally?
it begins the day of closing and lasts for 1 year.
1 year.
And they can purchase an extension. If they want to purchase it for a 2-year plan, they can do that. If they want to, after the end of the year, renew it, then they talk to their home warranty company on that.
Correct. And if we basically what home insurance is going to do is if your water heater busts and there's water coming out, we're going to fix the water damage. The home warranty might fix a water heater that's not working.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. Yes. I know when we moved into our house, the very first night, the air conditioning went out.
That'd be
And
home
so,
warranty.
yes, and that would be your home warranty.
And now if the
But-
AC pan is leaking and causing damage to your house, that's home insurance.
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that. That's great to have this team of people, of experts that know what's going on and how to help you in your home. So, talking about water, let's talk about flood insurance. Tell me a little bit more about that, since that seems to be a big topic this spring.
That is probably the most common question I get. Do I need flood insurance? And the simple answer is yes, you do. If you live in the Houston, Harris County, Gulf Coast area, you need flood insurance. Basically, if we get a hurricane that sits on top of us for a day, 2 days, we get 20 inches of rain, you're going to flood. It doesn't matter if you're in a flood zone or not in a flood zone. Basically, in 2001, when Hurricane or Tropical Storm Allison happened, 70,000 people flooded. 70,000 homes flooded. And 70% of those were not in a hazardous flood zone. So you need flood insurance.
Right. Well, and
it's-
as we know, in East Montgomery County, we had a lot of flooding in April and May, places that have never absorbed
Correct.
that amount of water. And
it's cheap. I mean, if you're not in a hazardous flood zone, you're
like
looking
100-year plane or something
you're
like that.
looking at basically $450 a year for flood insurance.
Okay, so it's well worth it to get it.
Yes,
And,
ma'am.
Of course, we're talking to the insurance man who wants you to have lots of insurance for all your needs.
I have found
That's
that
correct.
Cover
insurance is
your
well worth it
assets.
every time you need it.
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay, well, that's good. So, anything else you would like to add, Larry, about inspections?
I think one thing that I would want folks to know is that when we're doing a TREC inspection, we're following the guidelines of the Texas Real Estate Commission. There are other inspections. There's hydrostatic testing. There's environmental testing where people take air samples and soil samples. We don't do those out of our office. But if you're buying a house that might be of concern to somebody,
Sure.
they might want to know what the air quality is in a home and that type of thing if they're going to be breathing that air. That being said, though, we can hook them up with somebody, a third party or whatever that can do those. They're kind of specialized inspections. Our inspection, though, is more function. It's more for the average person to be able to afford an inspection. If they're buying a house and it's a big investment for them, can they afford to say, hey, what is this house doing? Is it going to perform or not perform for us? And that's what we try to do is
Well,
to
it's
try
a
to
good
give
service.
information.
You need to have inspections. You really do. You know,
We
everything
think so.
From,
We agree
well,
with
of
you.
course,
Yeah.
But everything from, the outside external things to the inside workings.
We kind of try to cover with our customer at the very end of the inspection. There's a lot of detail to an inspection. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially the first-time buyers. If somebody's first time in the house, I feel sorry for them because they it's just easy to get scared. I remember the first time I ever signed a mortgage, and my hands were shaking on a years ago when I was 20 years old. Nowadays, I can, buy a truck that's 3 times the cost of that house, and I don't even shake anymore. It's, and people that have bought 20 houses, they're much less worried about things as somebody. But at the same time, we try to cover the big 5. What's the foundation doing? What's the roof doing? What's the air conditioning doing? And their plumbing and electrical system. Kind of give them an overview of the big things that are big ticket items on a house. If you're buying an old house, though, you ought to expect it to be an old house before you ever came to do an inspection.
And you have other partners or people that you would recommend that do specific things like with the water pumps or the septic systems.
You bet. We do termite inspections out of our office. Water wells we do out of our office.
Well, that's another thing. People should have a termite inspection, I'm thinking, probably before they buy a home.
It doesn't.
Right?
And the number one question we get, you'll love this question, is I don't need a termite inspection because my house is brick. That makes me laugh because the brick is only on the outside of wood. Okay, it's still a wood house, and termites love to eat wood. So a termite inspection would be highly recommended.
What about other critters like rats and things
like that?
Well,
it's always good to do that.
We had a rat that was, about a foot big in our barn yesterday.
Hello.
He was dead.
That always helps if they're dead. So,
yes. Okay, well, I am very excited to have you guys here with me talking about buying a home, selling a home, getting pre-qualified with the options, warranties. And Kobe, you wanted to add something else real quick?
Yes. If you were listening in this show and you enjoyed what you heard and want to find out more about RE/MAX Rewards and how I can help you as the Director of Business Development, please stop by our office or please give us a call. We would love to have experienced agents, and I'm there to help you get through that, make the transition, learn more, make sure you have the training you need. Okay.
So to connect with Judy, you can go to realtybyjudyhayes.com. Deanna Galloway with Georgetown Mortgage is available at ghlowns.com/DEANNA. Jason Tracy is with LeonKeebleInsurance.com. Larry Fleming's with AccurateInspect.com. And, of course, you can reach me by calling 936-828-6881. Go to Facebook, EMC News, irlonestar.com/EMCN for additional information about sponsorships. And this half of the show was sponsored by Big Thicket Veterinary Clinic in New Caney, servicing all your pet needs, big or small, and they make house calls. On Monday, November 14th, we will have Deborah Johnson, Outreach Coordinator with the Montgomery County Memorial Library System. Deborah will tell us about all the new programs at the library, and they are a lot more than just books, activities, events, things like that, for the young at heart to the very young. We hope you've enjoyed the show today. I'd love to hear from you. Margie at taylorizedpr.com. Tune in next Monday and check us out on Facebook at EMC News. Be safe.
Thanks for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star Community Radio, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, TV, media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production produced by the show host and Dick Schischler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schischler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.